My name is Kunene, the acting executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. We are going to do an inspection at some of the buildings. This is a multi-departmental program. We've got transport and JRA is also here. We are going to look at illegal connections. We are going to look at the hijacked buildings. But the buildings that the MMC through EMS has identified, EMS has done some reports on the risks in these buildings, and that is why today we are starting this program to go and do the disconnection of illegal connections, both water and lights. And then we are also going, we have invited Home Affairs, Immigration. We are waiting for them, but they will find us on the way. Or they are here. Yeah. So Immigration is also here. We'll also check those who do not have the right papers to be in the city of Johannesburg. And once we find them, then we find them then. That's why we've got so many vans here. We are putting them in the vans so that they can go to Lindela and go back to their countries. But we are cleaning Johannesburg. This is part of the revitalization program of the city of Johannesburg that Mayor Morero has launched already. And then tomorrow we are meeting here at Constance Bapela, the council chambers at 9 o'clock for our second program. And then at 2 o'clock we will converge tomorrow at JMPD offices in Randburg, and we will then give direction of what we are going to do. And from there, we will then give direction. We are going to have a nightlife. We are going to have night programs tomorrow. We are dealing with Tsotsi. Tsotsi will run. Tsotsi will run. This is a program that we are doing. Criminals who are stealing the electricity of city of Johannesburg, who are connecting to residents, we are dealing with them. But we are also enforcing bylaws through JMPD, so that our city becomes a crime-free city and becomes a illegal immigrant-free zone. Thank you.
So that was the acting mayor of Johannesburg, acting mayor Kunene. He was leading a high-profile operation, targeting illegally occupied buildings in the city's inner suburbs. So Kunene, entered several dilapidated buildings suspected of being hijacked, and these properties, once legal structures, had been overtaken by illegal landlords or left abandoned, becoming overcrowded and dangerously modified, by desperate tenants. So his mission, he said, it was to reclaim the city from criminal elements and restore dignity and safety to Johannesburg. Another thing that Kunene also did was to shut down a creche which was operating in a hijacked building in the inner city. It was because, it was operating illegally there and it was not safe to be there. So inside one of the buildings, Kunene met, with a shocking discovery. Entire shacks had been erected inside the building. These makeshift homes were built out of scrap materials and cardboard, partitioning shared spaces into private dwellings. The interior resembled an informal settlement rather than a legal residential block. So Kunene, expressed outrage at the conditions, stating that this level of chaos and disorder could not be tolerated in the inner city, because one of the challenges is that those kinds of setups, they can be like a fire hazard and a danger to both the residents and even the emergency responders themselves. And there was even like a spaza shop, in one of the buildings themselves. Very, very surprising there. Another major concern which was highlighted during the raids was the widespread illegal connection of electricity. Cables were found running along walls and ceilings taped dangerously into the city's grid. These illegal connections, not only pose serious like fire and electrocution risk, but also result in massive revenue losses for the city. Kunene, immediately ordered a disconnection and warned that those responsible would be held accountable. So he accused like the building's occupants of stealing electricity while not contributing anything to the city's infrastructure. So the most disturbing discovery was a creche operating illegally within one of the hijacked buildings. Children were being looked after in small, unhygienic rooms. Those small unhygienic rooms, there's poor ventilation, no clear emergency exits, and exposed wiring. Kunene immediately ordered a shutdown of the facility, describing the environment as completely unsafe for the children and even the teachers there. He condemned the use of such building for childcare purposes and stressed that it amounted to the abuse and neglect of children under the guise of service provision. So, on top of that, during the operation, more than 40 undocumented foreign nationals were then arrested. Some were allegedly found in possession of fake passports, including fake passports and identity documents, including multiple individuals carrying the same passport number. Imagine, so like the same foreigners, like a number of them having the same passport number. Kenny Kunene emphasized that the raids were not xenophobic because it's one of the things, that other people would then rush to make accusation to say it's xenophobic, but it's rather not, because this is like an operation focused on restoring legality and safety to Johannesburg. So his actions, they sparked mixed reactions, with critics warning about the potential for human rights violation and the need for legal oversight in such mass arrests. So, despite criticism from NGOs and legal advocates, Kunene remained unapologetic. He declared that these raids would continue across the city and even blamed some NGOs and some decisions for shielding illegal occupants. So they are saying, these NGOs are shielding these illegal occupants and even frustrating the city's efforts to clean up the inner city. So in his own words, Kunene said, in quotes, "We are declaring war on these hijacked buildings." So his headline stance, has divided public opinion. Some residents supported, his boldness, whilst others, they feared that this approach could criminalize poverty and lead to forced evictions without due process. So this is just a few days of Kenny Kunene, holding this post until the mayor Dada Morero announces a replacement that is next week. And I'm sure you can already see that Kenny Kunene has done a lot, just in these few days of him being in office. You can imagine what Kenny Kunene can get done if he can get this post on a permanent basis. So one of the questions that so many people were asking, is that if Patriotic Alliance manages to run Johannesburg, it will get so much clean. And the question that is being asked, is that, like, why is Dada Morero failing to do this daily, cleaning the inner city and deporting or arresting undocumented foreigners? Is taking like an acting mayor to show him how to clean the inner city. Maybe it's because Dada Morero would be occupied with other work to do, because there is a lot of work to do if you are a mayor. So this was the operation that was being done by Kunene. Kunene himself, he is not like targeting anyone in this operation, but he is focused on following the law, safety, and cleaning the city of Johannesburg. That is where his main focus is at. It's not to target like anybody from his actions, and following the rule. And you even heard, that he is even accompanied as the mayor. He is even accompanied by immigration and the home affairs officials. So that's the work that he's doing. I'll catch you guys on the next one.